Hey, welcome to our spot for real talk on big changes. It's 2025, not the old days of the 1960s. But guess what? Some white folks are still slipping away from 6 US cities. Not for storms, high rents, or trendy crowds. Nope, it's 'cause black neighbors grew in number, adding spice, soul, and fresh vibes that feel too strong for some tastes. These spots now buzz with lively barbecues, rich sounds, and deep roots. Yet for others, it's like a shakeup, too lively, too city-like, or just different in ways they whisper about. Maybe it's unease, old habits, or flat-out bias. We're unpacking the top 6 black-led cities sparking this quiet move-out. Seen it yourself? Share below. Like, subscribe, and join for more honest looks. Number 6, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is divided, not just by streets, but by race, money, and zip codes. North St. Louis is mostly black, full of history, culture, and people who've stayed strong despite years of neglect. Meanwhile, suburbs like St. Charles, Chesterfield, and Bowen are mostly white, drawing people who left the city behind, like they're chasing a 1950s dream. Once, St. Louis was a star, great economy, proud baseball fans, and a skyline that turned heads. But as black residents gained power, many white folks moved out, scared of integration becoming real. North St. Louis got labeled too black, and the suburbs became their getaway. The numbers tell the story. St. Louis City is 46% black, 41% white. Drive 15 minutes to St. Charles County, and it's over 85% white. That's not mixing, it's running away. The Mississippi River isn't the real divide. It's fear and stereotypes about crime and urban decay. But the truth? Neglected areas lose resources when their people change color. Yet, North St. Louis stands tall. Its people are tough, its history rich, its community unbreakable. Why does a city with so much heart get written off just for not looking like a suburb? Number 5, Chicago, Illinois. Chicago's segregation wasn't a mistake, it was practically a competition. Want proof of white flight? Stroll through Englewood or North Lawndale. These areas didn't just lose white residents, they cleared out like someone shouted diversity in the 1960s. Chicago's famous for deep dish pizza, shady politicians, and a killer skyline, but it's also one of America's most divided cities today. Cross from the north side to the south or west, where black communities thrive, and you'll see it. Investment, safety, and opportunities disappear like a Cubs playoff hope. Back in the day, white folks lived in places like Englewood and Lawndale. But when black families arrived during the Great Migration, panic set in. Tactics like blockbusting, redlining, and shady loans pushed white residents out. Now Englewood is over 94% black, North Lawndale around 85%. White folks left behind little more than unpaid bills. Here's the thing. These neighborhoods' bad reputations often outshine their reality. The media calls them dangerous, but skips the part about strong communities and families who've lived there for decades. Violence in white suburbs is a tragedy. In black neighborhoods, it's normal. That's Chicago's bias at work. So is Englewood really scary, or just too black for some people's comfort? Is the fear based on facts or just old stories that keep real estate agents nervous and Uber drivers lost? Share your thoughts. How does fear reshape a city faster than any bulldozer? Number 4, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta didn't just become more black, it embraced its black identity with pride, thriving as a vibrant hub of black culture. This is something to celebrate, but not everyone seems to feel welcome at the party. As Atlanta grew into the black mecca of the South, many white residents quietly moved to suburbs like Alpharetta or Marietta, chasing familiar comforts like chain restaurants and grocery stores. Let's be honest, Atlanta is nearly 50% black, with a strong economy driven by black business owners, artists, scholars, and activists. You'll find black mayors, black CEOs, and popular black-owned eateries with long lines. But as black influence and culture soared, white families started leaving the city center. Is that just a coincidence or something else? Back in the 1970s, white people made up over 60% of Atlanta's population. Now it's about 38% and dropping, while suburbs have grown into mostly white leafy neighborhoods. People often say they moved for better schools, but that can feel like code for avoiding diversity. Atlanta isn't perfect. Rising costs and gentrification are real issues, and don't get me started on the traffic. But what's interesting about this white flight isn't just fear, it's about losing cultural control. In a city where black culture shapes everything, some feel out of place. So why leave a booming, lively city full of opportunity? Could it be about losing a familiar comfort zone? What do you think? Is diversity like a spice? Great in small amounts, but too much for some? Number 3, Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore didn't just get too black for some white people. It became the place they boast about escaping. You've probably heard it. I work in Baltimore, but I live in Howard County. What they mean is, I want the job, not the mix of people. For years, white folks leaving Baltimore hasn't been a secret. It's almost a tradition. The city is about 60% black now, and that shift didn't happen fast. Since the 1960s, white residents have steadily moved to suburbs like Anne Arundel, Harford, or Howard counties. Those places feel safer, have better schools, and let's be real, seem more like home to them. But those words often hide a deeper bias. Here's the proof. From 1950 to 2020, Baltimore lost over 350,000 white residents. That's a huge drop. Meanwhile, the black population grew, neighborhoods changed, and the city's culture became rich and unique. Yet the same places that produced icons like Thurgood Marshall and Jada Pinkett Smith are called dangerous on television. Baltimore gets judged, not just for crime, but for being a black majority city. The real question is, did the city struggle because of its people, or because money, care, and respect left when black families arrived? While some fled, black Baltimoreans stayed and built. They created businesses, art, activism, and a strong identity. They kept the city's heart beating, even as outsiders visit for games or food, but leave quickly. So, is it crime that pushes people away? Or is it that Baltimore's new identity doesn't fit their comfort zone? Share your thoughts below if you've seen this happen, or if you're proud to call Baltimore home. Number 2, Jackson, Mississippi, is over 80% black, and for some white folks, that was enough to pack up and leave. This city, the state's capital, should shine like a gem. But many white residents who once lived here, ran things, and own much of it have left. Let's be clear, white flight in Jackson isn't new, it's a pattern. Since the civil rights days, white families have quietly moved out, leaving behind homes, schools, and even their share of responsibility. Now you'll see them in nearby Madison or Rankin County, enjoying new roads while Jackson deals with broken pipes and crumbling systems. What happened? Jackson didn't fall apart, it just became too black, too strong, and too uncomfortable for some. When black leaders took charge of the mayor's office, schools, and city council, many white residents didn't cheer for progress. They left fast. Here's a fact. In 1980, Jackson was about 47% white. By 2020, it was only 16%. That's not a slow exit, it's a rush. The result? A city rich with culture, history, and passionate people, but struggling with underfunded schools and broken infrastructure. It's not that Jackson is broken, it's that it was left behind. So why leave a city with so much to offer? Was Jackson too messy to stay, or just too black for some to feel in control? Share your thoughts below. Number 1, Detroit, Michigan. Detroit didn't just build cars, it shaped history as a key example of white flight. This city is where it all went down. In the 1950s, Detroit was 85% white. Now it's over 75% black. Why? Not because white people suddenly wanted country life. They left when the city felt too black for them, speeding out faster than a car on Woodward Avenue. Here's the story. During the Great Migration, black families came to Detroit for auto jobs and a shot at the American dream. But white residents panicked. They used redlining, blockbusting, and then just moved away. By the 1967 uprising, many were already gone to suburbs like Warren, Livonia, and Bloomfield Hills, chasing safety and quiet. Here's the twist. Detroit didn't fall apart because it became black. It struggled because white investment, businesses, and political focus left too. It wasn't an accident, it was planned neglect. How does a major city go bankrupt while its suburbs thrive? That's no coincidence. It's a strategy. Today, Detroit is about resilience. Black-owned businesses are growing, culture is alive, and locals are rebuilding. Yet some still call it a ruined city. Why? Maybe because a black-led comeback doesn't fit their story. So was Detroit's decline really about factories closing, or was that just an excuse for leaving when integration started? Have you seen this happen elsewhere? Share your thoughts below.